as well. I finished Family Style. I was going to say a fun time reading it. It was really sad. You shouldn't be like, oh, it's great. It's a wonderful book, but it's very sad. So get ready for the tears. I loved this book. And then I was just like, let's do some quick reads. Let's get some of these large books out of here that you know that you're going to get rid of. Because the whole goal of this, right, is to read the books to get them off my shelf. And I have a bunch of small, thin books that I could read that I want to read. But then I'm like, what if kind of came across with Looking for Alaska is I kind of like it. I like it enough to at least keep it. So I'm trying to get rid of the books, burn through some of these young adult books. And one of them was a James Patterson book. I took off the cover in the car because I didn't want to damage it. But it's Confessions of a Murder Suspect. And I also have Confessions of the sequel. I have A Private School Murder. This cover is still on. I literally just finished this last night. And I was like, okay, I have the sequel. They read so fast. They read so fast because look at the amount of space that is wasted, and the chapter's only like 1 to 2 pages, and the font is like 14, and it's 1.5 space, and yeah, it's just so much room wasted. So it says it's like 300 pages. It's more like 70. So even though I was picking this up and down. I had a pretty busy schedule this past couple weeks. I'm gonna have an even busier one this week. I was reading like 20 minutes before bed or like just until I got tired, and I still burned through this pretty quickly. So on to the next one. I was gonna just read another John Green book because funny enough, after I read Looking for Alaska, I started following another YouTube channel, another booktube channel, and very happenstantially, they had posted a video on paper towns, which after Looking for Alaska, I was like, I have paper towns, I should read that. And their video kept coming up, and I was like, okay, I don't want to read that or watch that video until I read the book. And then I was like, okay, so do I read the paper towns after, Looking for Alaska, or do I just burn through these young adult books? So I'm going to burn through these, especially because it's like really light brained. I don't have to think about it too much. It's like a reality show, I don't have to like try really hard to read these. So it's good to just turn my brain off and just zone out a little bit into these nothing words. It's mostly dialogue too, and everyone has like the same voice, so it's just really easy. I'll talk more about it later. I gotta go right back. Bye. Alrighty. Hey, hello. Hi. Same day, nighttime now. Sorry that all of these like angles are very informal. I don't really have the space in my room to be like having like a little setup like everybody does just yet. I haven't really like scheduled any of these out very well. I'm definitely seeing as I'm filming more and more, I'm like, this is getting like all jumbled up. Like it's making no sense. When I go over my thoughts and feelings of these books, I'm kind of just going like the brief bullet points that I can remember at the moment that I've like written down in my journal, or things that I've talked about with my boyfriend over dinner, just like things that I can remember in the moment. And those are definitely not all of my thoughts that I have. And I like a lot of YouTubers, I'm assuming, have been writing their thoughts out for a while, at least enough to like actually write out a somewhat script, something for them to like go back to. So I should definitely start doing that when I take these a little bit more seriously. Not that I don't take this seriously at all, but I also I have a full-time job. I'm not like when during the winter we're really slow and I have all the time in the world, honestly, but like it has been nonstop busy at work, and especially this upcoming week, my head chef is out, so it's going to be like over 60 hours. And the last time I did that, I had 2 jobs. So this is 1 job, right? So it's going to be kind of hard. It's going to be kind of exhausting. I'm actually way past my bedtime doing this. And I have to pull like 12 hours. So it's already not like, whatever, I'll be fine. Actually, I'm also just going to maybe take a minute to talk about what I remember from the book that I just read while it's still fresh in my mind, just to like give you thoughts and feelings that I have about it. Like I already kind of talked about how the pages were like a waste of space, that the characters kind of lost their voices, like there was some random like tonal shift where it seemed like James Patterson kind of got lost switching between his adult novels and his young adult novels, because he just goes from name calling like, you cake sniffer, you know, Tootsie Pop, blah blah blah, sissy pants, just really silly name calling stuff, to like, that whore of a girlfriend that you have. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it just escalated so quickly. The tonal shift was like, wow. Oh, the main character is 16. Her late older sister was 16 in a story that she's telling about how her sister lost her life. And she found a boyfriend and ran off with him, and he was 21. He was 21, she was 16. And she was like, oh, Catherine told me all about him. But he wasn't the creepy pedophile type. He was just 21, a free spirit, a beautiful boy, and they loved each other passionately. He was an older man, something that would upset my father in particular. Yeah, no shit. Mind you, this is like 3 days after she turned 16. So she's like literally like fresh baby 16 and meets a 21-year-old man. And of course she's like head over heels of someone 5 years older than her. But she's 16. Literally the uncle, like the worst person in this story. He is pretty foul-mouthed, and not in the sense of like he's always cursing. He's just kind of like, you know, you SOB and like whiny little brats, I'm turning you over to the state kind of thing. Like he's kind of nasty, but like, I don't know, no one's really cursed that much. Even Matthew, who is the oldest brother, who doesn't live there anymore, and he's kind of like, oh, fuck you kind of thing. Like, that might be like the extent of it, is like, oh, you can go to hell, fuck you, screw you, things like that. But yeah, this last one, the uncle goes, Matthew is downtown with this slutty actress girlfriend. So I guess maybe I was appalled a little too much about the 3 incidences, but like, you gotta imagine how innocent this book is while you're reading it. Okay, this is not, you know, Pretty Little Liars. You know what I mean? This isn't even John Green, where you're like talking about real teenagers and real events and real things. I mean, this is so made up that they almost have superpowers. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone's super smart and super strong, and someone's super test lab rat type way. Like, their parents have been experimenting on them their entire life. And for some reason, they just have these innate abilities. The house is quirky as fuck, right? Like, there's all sorts of artwork, a UFO on the ceiling by the doorway. The couch has a metal robot man that is always watching the TV. The TV never turns off because the robot's always watching TV, right? And there is a pig couch. This just comes up enough times to make fun of the cops who are weirded out by this weird family. This family and their stuff don't last more than this book, so it's a lot of wasted time, and it's a lot of like whatever. It's supposed to be quirky and fun. I can definitely see me in middle school thinking way more about how fun this is than I am now. Last thing is for Confessions of a Murder Suspect is like suicide warning. Like, if there is a part in this book that has a suicide, and if you are sensitive to that, you know, just be aware of that, because that scene wrecked me. It might have just been like a lot of stuff too close to home, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was a little rough on that one. Also, like, this book tries to do this thing where it's like, you know, try to throw you off the trail by giving you too many suspects at once and accusing everybody at the same time. You know, it was you, it must have been you. And it's just like, also the entire book is her going person to person, accusing them, finding nothing, going to the next one. And she like kind of loops around a couple of times to the same people, because she doesn't really have anything. And then she very conveniently comes across a lot of these things that help refine the mystery of what happened. And there's a lot of revealing stuff about characters that don't ever come to fruition unless I like continue reading the series and find out more. It's just like, okay, was that just to throw you off the trail so that you thought about that more than you needed to, so that, you know, it's like a red herring kind of thing where you're so focused on this you don't actually know what's going on. But even if that was true, the very ending still was like, you were never gonna guess that. There was no hints. There was nothing that, like, this was supposed to be a mystery, right? Like, this was supposed to be like a whodunit. And, like, there was just no way that anybody was going to be able to put that together because he didn't give us any clues for that. Like, there was no leading up to anyways. That was the sort of problem with it. So I did end up talking about my feelings about the book. There you go. Awesome. Yee. Actually, I'm getting back into reading books, so this is like, you know, kind of a cool thing. This video has ended up going to be like months long. It's like my very first booktube video. It's like took 6 months plus to do because my footage got lost. And I don't know when to end the video because I'm still reading, but I can't get any of the video done, so I'm just going to keep recording. I'm gonna keep reading until I figure out what the hell I'm doing. Okay. Oh, wow. So, that was a pretty rough week. My boyfriend worked a little bit longer than me. He's also not feeling it this morning. This morning, it's 12. It's 12 on Monday, and we have work again tomorrow at noon. I mean, this is what our chef does all the time. So, I mean, boo-hoo to us, right? But, damn. I didn't sign up for this. I have no contract. She does. No. I'm really happy for her. I'm really happy that she's on this vacation. She fucking deserves it. And then, hopefully, she's happy with what we did when she gets back. I can only hope. Like I said, I knew I wasn't gonna read this week. I knew it. And yeah, no. Alrighty, it's Jenna from the future. So this is kind of a reshoot, only because the footage that I did use when I was talking about Confessions of a Murder Suspect, a lot of it was kind of up here and right after work, and then I found that a lot of my footage was extra blurry, more so than the beginning part. And I was just like, okay, I know that this is supposed to be like a side project and to not really think about it too much. And I'm not doing it for views necessarily. I'm just trying to get my editing practice in and giving myself content to actually edit. But as I progressed into making my YouTube channel, the more I started to care about it, and the more I started to care about like a theme or consistency or a flow of some sort, you know. And I don't even know if I'm going to continue keeping the already hey hello thing. It was just the first thing I thought of, but so far I'm liking it. It's kind of cute. And also I started to realize that a lot of my footage was just kind of summarizing without spoiling, even though half of them I was spoiling. And it wasn't just like oh my god, I didn't realize I was doing this. It was more of I had come to the decision that I wanted a spoiler only channel. And then when I went back and actually started editing my videos and stopped like reading and stopped recording and actually went to the laptop and edited the stuff that I recorded months ago, I was like, oh, well, I kind of didn't do any of very, very little of that. So some of my footage of Confessions of a Murder Suspect, the first one, was okay. So, I mean, it was not great. So I just left it alone. I'm just gonna like maybe edit the sound a little bit. Like the fan is on me the whole time because it's in the middle of summer. So, I know people don't like that. I reduced the noise just a little bit, and I wrote down some notes. Sad news, I already gave away the book. I knew I didn't like it. I didn't know if I was going to continue reading the series. I read the second book because I had it, and then that would kind of finalized it for me. I was like, I really don't want to finish this series. I don't want to read it anymore. There's like 4 or 5 more books. I'm not, I don't know. So I went on YouTube
the holy YouTube, and I typed in that series to see if somebody else had read it and was explaining it to me so I don't have to read it. And though it's like years old, there are people that have read it and they just are not spoiling it. They're just kind of summarizing what the book is about. Very, not only early booktube days, but also just like that's normal booktube. A lot of people either just they do or they do not spoil, unlike me who has a mix right now. And that kind of like solidified it for me, is that was kind of like, okay, does that mean I have to be the channel that spoils all the books that people don't want to read? I'll probably exclude classic literature because, students need to do their homework and I don't need to tell them what happens in their homework. But for generic, silly books, I mean, also speaking of, I did want to say I've already, it's October now, and I posted my first video. I posted my intro video and my first booktube video, and already I've gotten such lovely comments and I've gotten a few subscribers already, and I just want to let you know how encouraging your words are, and how grateful I am for you to say things like congratulations and good job for posting just one video. So just how I just want to say thank you for how encouraging it is to say such sweet things that you guys did. It's still early in the works. I know I have a long road to go and to keep doing better and better. I hope each video progresses. I know not every video is going to be like an exact progression from the last, but I do hope that there are some things that I learn along the way and implement fully, like if I try something out this time and don't implement it in the next video, doesn't mean I'm abandoning the idea. It's just I'm trying a different idea out this time. So I appreciate you, people who are following along, and anyone that gives me advice or just here to chill and hang out with me. That's cool too. So thank you. I have notes this time. Well, I have notes because I don't have the book. So I don't know if we should be applauding me just yet, but I have notes this time. It even says Confessions of a Murder Suspect reshoot. So boom, I had this planned. This book series is about the Angel family. And the Angel family is a very rich family in New York. They have a penthouse in the Chelsea, I think it's called, in the middle of Central Park. And they have she has 3 living siblings, one late, and her dad was in pharmaceuticals and her mom was in stocks. Her name is Tandoori, based off of the cuisine or oven. That is one of the little quirks that you immediately come across in the book, is that her parents are so worldly and so smart and so knowledgeable that they do quirky things like name their children Tandoori, while also naming the rest of their children very normal names like Catherine and Matthew and Harry, and I forgot the last one, to be honest with you. They also, since they owned a pharmaceutical company, they were pulling all of their resources, let's say, to experiment on their children, to give them vitamins that they have to take every day. And they would not only control the doses and monitor them and make sure that they are giving them the amount that they want to give them. They will jot down notes about their progress or any type of outburst, and then they will adjust the medication. And this medication damn near gives them superpowers. Tandy says it makes her super smart and really attentive and very focused, and her focus is being a detective. She wants to be a detective so bad. Everything to her is a mystery, everything is a case, and she is so confident in herself that unnatural thing or unlikely scenarios, she tends to get her way just because she already assumes that she is. And she's barely 16, not even. And there are plenty of adults who are laughing at her, who are not taking her seriously at all. And then she's just she says one quippy little thing and they kind of zip their lips oh, and it's funny. I remember being a teenager reading the Max von Ryan series and thinking that Max was so sassy, and this is the same author, and that I just loved when she just like set adults straight. Oh, did I love it? So I think this is supposed to be for the same age when I read that, which was like I think 8th grade, 9th grade, probably closer to the middle school age. But for me, as a 31-year-old, it did kind of make me roll my eyes, but that's okay. It's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be kind of like kids fighting back. You know, they get talked to a certain way all the time. It's kind of nice to see adults get theirs. And boy, does she mouth off to cops. She does not care. And her older brother, Matthew, he's very, very strong. That's what the vitamins did for him. He is a very famous athlete, football player. I think he might also be a doctor. I'm not sure. He's like his two professions, and he's great at both of them. And he's very famous in his world. Their world, not just his. Sorry, he's not delusional. But in this story, he is famous for being an athlete, for being a famous football player. And his girlfriend is this famous actress. Tandy's older sister, Catherine, late older sister, she died in a motorcycle accident when she was 16. So ever since that death, every sibling has been on more tighter scrutiny and tighter pills and even stricter Congos, I think they're called. I'll get into that in a second. I don't remember quite. I don't know if they touched on what her ability was. But Harry, her Tandy's twin brother, is very emotional. She's even called him emo multiple times throughout the book. Just emo. And I don't, as he's described that, he does not act like that at all. Like, he is emotional and he is sensitive. And so I guess to her, who is completely detached from emotions altogether, he's, I guess, like ridiculously emotional to her. But his gift is because he's so sensitive. He's a prodigy of music, so he's really good at piano. He what's that concert hall? It's the big concert hall, in New York, and he had a sold out performance where it was just him. So we're supposed to know that Carnegie, is it Carnegie Hall? I can't remember what it is, but it's when you read it, you're like, okay, he sold out. Okay, he's a teenager too. He's also 16, but that also kind of like that also kind of reminds me of August Rush a little bit. So it's kind of adorable. And then the younger brother, again, I can't remember his name right now. It might come to me in a little bit. He is also super smart. He seems to be pretty strong too, like his older brother, and he does seem to be also like more in tune with his emotions. I wonder if he kind of has the trio, or if he was supposed to have his like own ability, because he kind of has a temper on him as well. When I say as well, Matthew has a temper on him, and he has like threatened people, which puts the angels in the bad limelight, and they get like they're in the tabloids. So they gotta make sure that their image for the Angel Pharmaceuticals are clean. And their uncle, I think it's like, was it Oliver, Oscar, Peter, I think it's Peter, and he's mean. He's just really mean. He doesn't like the kids at all. He just takes whatever he wants. He says how it is. At the same time, he also like doesn't give two shits about what Tandy has to say, and I kind of live for it. I know you're supposed to like the main character, but I really don't like the main character. So every time she's just like, "Oh yeah, well you did it," and he's just kind of like, "I really don't care what you have to say, Tandy," and he like walks away, and I'm like, "Ooh, burn!" It's great. So the story, at the very beginning of the story, this is the synopsis of the book.
For it is a tragic tale of romance, passion, and a murder most foul.
This is gonna be good.
Is that Tandy wakes up to her parents being dead. horrific scene in the bedroom of both her parents dead. There are police. Her siblings are all in the living room. The police are interrogating them profusely already, like children had something to do with this. They don't believe either of them are innocent, and it doesn't matter how much Tandy is like standing up for them or saying, hey, you're not gonna just come in here into our house. There's laws, and they're like, oh, you want to talk to us about the law kind of thing. They immediately go back and forth. Caputo, I think, is the name of the officer that tends to taunt her the most. I don't know why he's wasting his time really, but he seems to get off just like completely like coming up with a new name to call her that's not her name, like Tootsie Pop or Tansy, as many times as he can. He will even reuse the same names just to not call her Tandy, because when he got it wrong the first couple times on accident, she'd be like, it's Tandy, you know, and so he's like, oh, this gets a rise out of her. Bet like you don't let people know what gets a rise out of you. They'll use that exact thing. They are on lockdown until in the house until the police say otherwise. And Tandy has taken upon herself to solve the mystery of her dead parents. She is far more smarter and superior and knows this family better than the police do. So the thing is that Tandy actually believes that either she or one of her siblings did it as well. She doesn't think that somebody else came into the house. She looked at all of the entrances and exits, and even the police said there was no like forced entry of any kind. There wasn't anything like taken or stolen or moved around in any way that anyone could have that anyone recognized. So the killer's in the house. And that makes everybody on edge, obviously, because they don't believe that their own siblings have done it, but at the same time, they're very heavily medicated, and they don't know how much this medication actually affects them. They don't even know that their parents are the ones that are like controlling their medicine like that. Like they knew that they're giving him vitamins, but Angel Pharmaceutical vitamins, but I don't think they knew initially that they were lab rats of these pharmaceuticals, or that they were like giving them tailored vitamins to control them so minutely, even though they controlled every other aspect in their life. I just don't think I think they had enough trust of their parents that they just weren't even thinking of that. But Tandy does find an office, a hidden office. I'm not remembering quite what part of the story, but she's exploring the house, and she's going up the spiral staircase where all these paintings are, and it's like the ending of the house, the top of the house. And she sees a painting kind of like not fused to the wall just quite like the others, and she's, I guess, finds a latch, and she opens it, and it's a door to a whole room, a long lab type room that she didn't even knew that was part of the floor plans of her house. And it looks just like a secret lab that her dad had, because she goes through the filing cabinets, and it's a bunch of files from the Angel Pharmaceuticals, and there is their evidence of all the experiments. And she wasn't able to go through everything before. A lot of it was either confiscated from the police or Uncle Peter took it, but she did take enough to answer some of her questions. A lot of it was also just like office paperwork, so she was kind of like going through like a lot of this is just repetitive. It's not giving me any extra information. She really wants to investigate this more and figure out exactly what they were giving them. For now, she has decided to just stop taking them. She's going cold turkey at the beginning of the book. Oh, I guess it was the beginning of the book. It's damn near early in the book where she just decides to cut cold turkey on these meds. And between each chapter, we get something called a confession. Hence, Confessions of a Serial Killer, or not serial killer, my bad, murder suspect. It's supposed to be just like her, like, confessing to us, the audience. It's very, like, direct, like, you reader, you're reading this right now, I'm gotta confess to you kind of directness. That breaking of the fourth wall was whatever. But I think what irritated me the most about these confessions is that a lot of them were either like not really things that you needed a whole confession page to confess. We kind of figured that out, or like you've already said it, you didn't need to have a confession page. But it also, like, devil's advocate, that kind of like validifies those ideas more instead of just being like wishy-washy. Like, you know, she does go back and forth a little bit in like telling you her emotions or what she thinks. Like, she'll contradict herself a little bit. She's like, what about this? Well, no, because maybe this, you know, that kind of thing. So those confessions do kind of solidify some truths, but also you don't know quite yet how reliable this narrator is. So it's all in the air for a little bit. Another thing that kind of irritated me about these confessions was that there would be just like, there's absolutely no way in hell that my blank would ever, and then confession, it's like, oh, so I gotta confess, my blank, I caught them kind of doing something that's similar. I don't know if I would make them mad if I were you. Womp. So, for instance, she definitely didn't think her little brother would have anything to do with hurting their parents, even though, like, he's getting bigger and stronger, like, unnaturally stronger. She's just like, there's just no way. He's just the sweetest kid in the world. There's just no way. Then in the confession, she's like, well, I did see him lose his temper, and when I saw him lose his temper, he like broke something big and he like barely remembers it. And so now I'm scared of his capabilities. I was like, okay, well then you probably shouldn't say he would never, ever. He looks like he might, you know, and then same with the older brother. And Harry, I don't remember what excuse she had for them, but then even there was this confession of Tamara, Matthew's girlfriend, the actress, the superstar. She went on live television saying that she had an affair with the dad. And everyone's like, what? And then she was like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I can't believe she would say that. That's so untrue. That and then she's saying, because she's pregnant. She's also saying that she's pregnant, and then she is pregnant with the dad's baby. And they're like, what? That's not true. Like, how could you say that? My parents loved each other. And then in the confession, she's like, so, readers, what if I told you that I caught my dad and Tamara in the kitchen uncomfortably close to each other, like talky, laughy, giggly, flirty, and then when I got there, they separated quickly. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I saw nothing, but maybe it was something, right? And you're just like, okay. And I don't actually remember if the baby ended up being the dad's. I think it ended up being Matthew's the whole time. So I don't actually know if there was an affair or if she was just trying to get a rise out of Matthew. She was very toxic and problematic as it was, but I don't think she was doing any, like, I don't know if she was actually having an affair with the dad. That part didn't really become clear. She did in a confession tell us what happened to Catherine, how she died in the motorcycle accident. She was freshly 16. She met a 21-year-old and like ran off with him, and with him died in the motorcycle accident. I think, I don't know if he died, but I know it was with him that she did. And the other confessions are about this boy named Jared that she loves so much, and she can barely remember anything about him. Anything, because the medicine not only keeps it down, but when she ran away with her boyfriend Jared, when she got kidnapped back because her parents like straight up like swooped her up on a beach and put a knapsack over her head and kidnapped her back. They took her to an institute and zapped her brain a bajillion times and fried it until she was just like, you know, like a single tone, like when the TV turns on, it makes like, you know, like that was her brain because they just zapped her that many fucking times. And she was extremely complacent. She did exactly what she was told. She did whatever they wanted. And that was because of what happened to Catherine, kind of, but also because she rebelled too. She also ran away with the boy Jared, and she starts to remember. She remembered his name. That was the first step. She remembered going to therapy and the doctor's name, what the things that she said to her, her memory actually going. So she's kind of going backwards a little bit. She remembers her memory going, and she remembers a beach. She kind of remembers certain touches after a while, and then after a few nights, I think it's like almost a week, she remembers a kiss. She remembers blonde hair, eyes. She's getting there. And she is kind of focused in figuring that out because it is so emotional to her, and she's feeling emotions again, which she's cool. She cut cold turkey off the medicine, so she's experiencing a lot of withdrawals, but she's experiencing emotions and other feelings that have been suppressed for a long time. So that's also like very shocking. It's very unnerving. It's I can imagine very uncomfortable. But she also is trying to like stay focused on figuring out who killed her parents. And so she does go sibling to sibling to sibling, like per chapters, right? Like she's going through the idea of that person doing it, discovering their stuff, figuring out one of their little secrets, which is not really that big of a deal, and finding out that they're not a killer. And she does that, like I said, she goes through that cycle twice within her family because there was no force of entry, right? So it can't be anybody else. She's even gone as far as gone to the neighbors and blamed them and can't get anything from them. Samantha, which is her mom's personal assistant, very, very, very close to the family, practically a nanny to the kids. She is completely distraught and has no idea either. She has keys to the house, and she was there at the house. So I was suspecting Samantha the whole time, especially when Tandy starts finding out that Samantha and the mom were actually having an affair. That one's legitimate. There was proof for that one. That one had a letter, had a locket. There was confessions with that not just Tandy's but Samantha's. So I was like, Samantha fucking did it. Like, right?
Should I shoot him? Should I shoot him? Just tell me who I should shoot and I'll shoot.
Like, yeah, I just, that to me was so obvious. And I was just waiting for it to like wrap back around. But no, Tandy even gets to the point where she has everyone in the living room and being like, you did it. No, you did it. No, you did it. Everyone did it. Like, it was just like, it was a little chaotic, honestly. And that's exaggerated, but basically. Hugo. The little boy's name is Hugo, and he's like 10. I'm sorry. I did not remember Hugo's name. So she does also suspect Uncle Peter. He does have, he does also co-own the property. He has like ways of getting on there without anybody knowing, and he was there recently in the area that week, and he was there so quickly when the parents died that it was like, okay, so you were in the area. Tandy finds out that there was corruption within the pharmaceutical company that their parents owned as well. So their stocks were their pharmaceutical stocks were being used by their mom in her business, I guess. And when her stuff went kaput, all of their embezzlement in the company and everything that happened in the company went awire. All I have is that there's corruption in the stocks and that Peter might have a reason to kill Malcolm, his brother. Peter is the brother of Malcolm. Also, we do know that Malcolm is also from a rich family. His mom is even wealthier than their family, like 10 times forward. And she cut him off penniless for marrying Maud, the mom, and there's like a clause in that for the grandkids later, but for the most part, like they made their own money, and so it seems like that they made their own money kind of like corruptly, and that Uncle Peter's money was also put into the company. So when all of this went down, Uncle Peter is not only like taking control over everything, but he's like selling everything like crazy to save his own ass because everything's in his name. So Tandy is like villainizing him hardcore, even though it does look like he did it too. I'm not blaming her for that, but it doesn't matter how much he is like not involved in the murder or the death of her parents. Even later on, she is just like villainizing him, and he's not a great person, don't get me wrong, but like everything's in his name. Of course he's gonna sell everything. Your parents did wrong. You have to, you know this, you know they did it wrong. So before I reveal what happens, so another thing about the parents is that they are very strict parents. And when I say strict, I don't mean like religious strict. I mean, if you get something wrong or you talk back instead of doing like push-ups, like my dad made me do push-ups when I talked back. Or even washing your mouth out with soap when you curse. That's not the kind of strict I mean. Very much like if you had an attitude at dinner or talked back at dinner, or no, it was more like if you stayed out late and didn't come home on time, you had to like memorize the first 20, 30 pages of the dictionary. And I mean words, descriptions, suffixes, synonyms, and all of it. Like there was many incidences where she had to memorize the populations of all the cities of a single country, and she did. And so like these kids are put through these massive tests, and they're not allowed to leave the room until they complete it. I know that they are under special pills, but even then I think this is just crazy abusive. But you know, it is a fictional world. And I'm giving like really soft examples, mind you, just because I can't really remember all of the ones that they'll do. But they have also made them all memorize this poem called Maud, and like made them write it frontwards and backwards, that kind of thing. Mostly because their mom's name is Maud, but it like has some type of symbolism. And when they do these great things, and when they are so impressive, and they like, they are competed against each other too as children. So when they compete against each other and one wins, they get a special prize. And I can't remember if the special prize is the Congo or if the punishments are called Congos. Either way, it was based off of some worldly reference. It did explain it. I did skim through it. I didn't know it was going to come up this many times, honestly. I really didn't, and I didn't go back. But they get rewarded with something that they would really, really want. And even Hugo, when he was been punished, was sent on an island to pick sugarcane for over a week. And when they're given stuff, it's like a Monet, probably not that, but or a big giant race car bed for Hugo. Like, it's something extremely valuable, but also I don't think it, of equal value to the punishment that they're willing to dish out. So you're probably not feeling too bad about Maud and Malcolm, thinking that they might have deserved what's coming to them, right? Well, you might be a little disappointed to find out that they Romeo and Julieted themselves. So Tandy goes to her neighbor. Like I said, she was blaming all her neighbors too. And her next door neighbor is this, he gives me Perez Hilton vibes, but he's a very voyeuristic director. And I don't know if he's washed out or if he's up and coming, or no, he can't be up and coming because he lives in the Chelsea, but he is like not liked. So not liked by the Angel family, at least. And he's been trying to do a documentary of the family for years, and they just keep saying no. They don't believe that he's going to put them in the best light, and they want to protect their family. So when she gets there, not only is he not there, she breaks into his house. You know, in the movies where the important people have surveillance cameras everywhere, and so there's an entire wall of a bunch of tiny squares of footage. That's kind of what she walks into, is a bunch of footage of her house, tiny cameras all over her house, like not just in the living areas but in the bedrooms, just areas where they shouldn't be. I don't think he found the office, but regardless, fucking weird. What? How did he even get in there? I don't even know. That's another thing. If he could get in there, maybe he did it, but we'll get into that. He didn't do it. You see through the footage that Samantha does come by. She gives the paperwork to Maud, and then she looks over at Malcolm and she lets him know that, like, not only did the cancer come back, but it's progressing and none of their medicines are working, and that, so actually this is where I might have read it wrong, because every time I read it, like I'm reading the summaries online, it's a little confusing. I took it as Maud and Malcolm Romeo and Julieting themselves at this point by her explaining that either her cancer had come back, or that she had cancer, or that the stocks situation was just so bad that she might as well kill herself. I don't think it was the stocks. I'm pretty sure she was sick, but I can't remember her reasoning on it. I do remember that she poisoned herself though, and I thought that he did the same, but the summaries online are saying that it was actually her poisoning him slowly over time, and she also poisoned herself to off herself, but that like she enlisted help from Peter to help it get it done, so that it was like a murder suicide assisted murder type situation, a triocide, if you will.
Get me some poison, because I am already dead inside.
It was a little confusing. Like I said, there was nothing to really lead up to a suicide poisoning, or that Maud was the one that was going to do it. I understand if this is like her last attempt of control, but if she wasn't dying, then I think she could have found a way to get out of it. So I do think she was sick, but I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think Tandy agrees with me that it doesn't make a lot of sense, and she's very mad. Her family's obviously very upset, and we kind of leave them. We kind of leave them with all of that. It kind of sucks. And we leave them with Uncle Peter being their guardian. And we just go on to the next book. It like ends sort of like, we'll be okay. We got this. We're the Angel family. But it doesn't look good. And so the next one immediately starts with her still being at her house, but Uncle Peter is selling everything. And she's just like, ah. So I'll have to summarize that one maybe tomorrow, just because I'm getting tired already and my battery already died once. So I'm going to give them a chance to charge.
Low battery.
The book, what was I saying? It's time.